As a woman, I think generally, not only when you have a child with special need, generally women take a break from their corporate life in a high paid job. They don't get what they actually need. So when I took a break, that period or that silence made me think a lot. I wanted to create something, a sustainable business which can create opportunities for women. Earlier, I used to feel that I don't have a girl child, and all that is taken care of through my school. When you go there, you see the little one dancing, coming up to you, talking to you. Your mood is completely changed. I tell my friends, you want to feel yourself happy and feel like a child, just walk into my school. That's the kind of impact it has created. Watching the TV, nobody talks to me. I only process that information in my mind. So it affects the children very, very badly. Lot of behavior issues are arising because of excessive screen time.
Welcome back to Rashmi Conversations. Dr. Devki, I meet a lot of entrepreneurs. I very, very rarely meet entrepreneurs who want to create an impact or create a startup in the social impact space or the social space, simply because there is a perception that it cannot be sustainable, it cannot be revenue generating or profit generating. This is a topic I want to dwell on in this conversation. But to start with, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
That's a nice thing, and thanks for having me again here. It's glad and honored to share this journey with you. I'm Dr. Devaki Balaji, an Edupreneur and inspirational speaker, founder APJ Group of Institutions. So it's nothing but APJ International Preschool and Academy, where we cater to educational services starting from age 1 to 50 plus. So we run a preschool, which is an inclusive school. Also, we have an academy where we cater to a lot of academic and vocational courses, both offline and online. So basically, I'm an educator. From my childhood, I love something is teaching. So my passion towards teaching is something that, helped me to start this business.
We spoke about your journey with your child who's a special needs child, and you could have just said, hey, you know what, I figured out how to help my child. He's an international and national swimmer. He participates in Paralympics and wins for India. He recently won awards from the sports minister of India and also from the governor. Why did you have to create this inclusive school for others? You could have just been happy with your own success and your child's success, right?
You're right. There are generally two kinds of people. When you get a headache, you try and find a solution for it, and then you stop with that because it's cured. The second type is when you have a headache and you find a solution for it, you wanted to tell people what you've tried and how you overcome that situation. I think I fall under the second category. And the entrepreneurship spirit in you does not allow you to sleep. So it's been there from my childhood, starting a school, giving back to society in terms of education was there in my childhood because I started teaching from my very young age. Somewhere when I became a corporate trainer, we call the term ikigai, right? The true purpose. So I kind of found out that teaching is my passion and managing people is my skill set. So I wanted to do something in the educational sector. But that's when my son was diagnosed. I had to take a break from the corporate. So people told me I'm doing a blunder by just quitting my job because you hardly get a job immediately in those days. But I was very, very confident that I can do something better than what I was doing because my creativity did not have proper feed when we were just working for a company. So I took a break working with my child. Generally, resilience is something that helps you to thrive during situations, and that's one of the quality an entrepreneur should have. So by taking care of my son, the whole damn purpose changed. Okay, because as a woman, I think generally not only when you have a child with special need, generally women take a break from their corporate life in a high paid job because of marriage, family, kids and stuff. And they take a long break. When they go back, they don't get what they actually need. So when I took a break, that period or that silence made me think a lot. I wanted to create something, a sustainable business which can create opportunities for women. So empowering women was one of the key motto. And that business should also touch young minds' life. This was very, very clear. Since I had that clarity, because as an entrepreneur, when you're starting a business, like you said, you can't just do business for the sake of doing it. If it's not a sustainable and a profitable model, you're going to fail. So you need to have your purpose clear. After purpose, that alone is not enough. Your passion and the plan of action. So I had that clear. I wanted to start an educational institute where I can touch young minds, thereby create employment opportunities to women, especially who take a break from corporate life. So I created that plan. That's when APJ Academy was started 11 years before. I was able to, bring a lot of courses under one head because, see, as an entrepreneur, you always look at the problem areas and you try to give solution. So when you find out the right problem and give a proper solution, there is a business model in scope for that. Only when you do not have that, you try to sell whatever you have, that's when the challenge is. So I know the challenge of any mother is taking your child to various different classes running around. If everything can be under one roof, the mother's problem is solved. Similarly, if a woman wants to go out and earn, they need a place where the child can be taken care, like a daycare center or a play area. So that's when I brought an APJ International Preschool with a daycare and play area setup. So basically, that problem area was corrected. So a lot of women can come for part-time jobs, earn through that, and their child also can be engaged. Because I had this own challenge of raising my son, because when I was raising my son, till grade 5, he was into regular schooling, after which, those days it was difficult to find a school which runs on an inclusive model. Either you have to go back to a school completely with special children, or a regular school won't even take in. Though we have rules in place that so many kids have to be accommodated, what is in practical was different. Because of that, I had to put my son back to special school. All this was there in my mind. So when I started my preschool, I made sure it has to run on an inclusive model through which we need to create awareness. At least the next generation would not suffer like us. So I think the plan was very clear, and when your plan is clear, when your passion is in peak, the universe conspires and makes it happen, right? That's how everything happened.
You spoke about how 20 years back, as a parent of a special child, you had A, B, C challenges. How has APJ International resolved or solved this A, B, C challenges for the young parents today? Do you feel that it is actually a business model which pays and you're able to monetize it?
Definitely. Actually, the question was very good because normally, even if it's a preschool itself is a very good business model because as young mothers, they don't want to send their kids to a regular school with many children are accommodated. They wanted that individual attention. Even as a mother, you would opt for it. So having understood the challenges of the mother, the model is precisely designed. Okay, so our USP was very, very clear that our student-teacher ratio was very small and unique, and we stick to what we did. Because the quality was good, automatically through word of mouth, the business spreads, and every family at least have 2 children. So when you get a child for a preschool admission, automatically the parent will look out for other after school activities for the sibling or for the same child, which I already had in my plate. So because it was not just a preschool, it also had an academy attached, an after school activity center where my school operates from morning 8:30 till night 8:30 round the clock. And like I previously said, if a parent wants to take an hour break, a special need parent, let's assume they'll be already in meltdown and frustration. They want to just take an hour break. They can always come leave the child in our daycare where we had our caretakers who are trained and developed in all ways to take care of these children. So in this way, it was very beneficial for the parents. Parents wanted to come to this kind of setup. It was just through word of mouth, our business grew multifold. So I think I practically felt it was a proper business model. Because every need of the parent was satisfied. Not only that, I make sure this happens in my institute. When a parent comes to me, whether they're going to take a service or join or take admission in our school or not, I make sure the right information is given to the parent. A proper counseling is given. Either I have the solution for the problem they've come to me, or I guide them to the right person for the solution. Because I've been doing this ethically, people come back to me for various needs, or people keep referring me. I could see that the second generation kids, maybe a child would have finished the 12th coaching with us. Now the second child comes for 10th standard, or their neighbors, relatives. Every single day when I get a parent walking in, they tell me, somebody told me about your school. They spoke so much about your school. That's why we are here. So basically, I don't spend on marketing much, and that's how kids gets added. I think that's a perfect business model, and I've been so happy of starting and doing this.
You know, ADHD is also on the rise today, diagnosis of ADHD as a condition. Do you also cater to such children and their parents?
Yes. See, ADHD, just like autism, it is another neurodiverse condition. Just that, sometimes people mistake both to be the same. Sometimes you have both features together also. Basically, ADHD is attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder, where the kids are in the IQ level of 50 to 70%. But just that they cannot focus on something for a longer time. They'll have attention deficit and they'll be very, very hyperactive running around. If that hyperactivity is channelized properly, these kids can perform very well. So, by observing the child, I do an assessment, I tell them, or I suggest the parents to go for occupational therapy. With occupational therapy and a cognitive behavior therapy, we call it a CBT, a specific cognitive behavior therapy, these ADHD kids can actually perform very well. They can actually go to normal schools, perform well with a little bit tweaking in their behaviors.
Can you share some success stories that you have produced from your school?
A lot. Like I said, I have a school and an academy. I have success stories coming from both sides. Let me talk about my academy here. We've got students coming in at 7th standard, 8th standard, saying that math was difficult. The kind of coaching that we give, basically more than the coaching, we try to help the child, tell them we build the confidence level, because most of the kids do not perform because the confidence level is affected. And now that particular child becomes a max mentor in the same academy and the most wanted tutor. It gives you so much of happiness. So a lot of my students are teachers with us, and they're teachers elsewhere as well. They're performing so beautifully. I think that's success is all about. Coming to the school, basically, now the parents started to ask me for everything. They kind of built that trust that, when information comes from APJ or from me, they can just, stick on to it, and it's very ethical. I've taken kids on the neurodiverse spectrum after assessment. I take kids who are in the mild spectrum so that we can closely work on them, move them or push them more towards the mainstream. That's the goal basically. And the reason why I was doing inclusive model is even the normal or the neurotypical kids should be aware of this, so that the parents and the normal kids should be aware that these kind of kids exist. Slowly they'll get to adapt to them, they'll develop empathy. So the success story is we take kids who are in the spectrum with no speech or little speech or speech delay. I apply a concept called MANS. It is creating a demand to speak. Basically, because of the addiction to screen time and lot of gadgets usage, many normal kids are lagging in speech. So I understand, I put them in an environment where they are forced to speak. In a month of 3 or 4, the kids start to speak nicely. They will initially start to utter words, slowly phrases, and the parent come back and tells us they are speaking well, they did this, they kind of came back home and told whatever happened in school. So in a year or two, we were...
Excessive screen time can actually impede the speech development of a child.
Exactly. I see a lot of kids coming to me where
That's
they
really shocking.
Because TV is a monologue. It doesn't speak to you. The kids get addicted to it. They keep listening to it. So what happens is there's a situation or term called echolalia, where the children will talk to themselves. It's a self-talk within themselves instead of talking to others. Now we both are sitting and conversing because I have you in front. But if I'm watching the TV, nobody talks to me. I only process that information in my mind. So it affects the children very, very badly. Lot of behavior issues are arising because of excessive screen time.
Oh my God. I see so many parents feeding their children food watching screen.
Exactly.
I mean, they literally do not eat food if they're not on a tab or a phone watching. That's so dangerous then.
Because you ask me this, our school runs without a TV model. There are schools where they keep a screen time where they play rhymes and videos, right? We just have a speaker audio where the rhymes are played or music is played and they dance. They don't get to see a screen. So I think that's something that social responsibility should be there for parents as well as other entrepreneurs who are running preschools, because screen time is very, very dangerous for kids. Like you said, parents who are listening to this should stop feeding their child by showing TV or phone. In fact, even as adults, you shouldn't be watching TV while eating. You'll have to eat mindfully. Not many are aware of it because you don't eat mindfully. The child doesn't know what he or she is eating because the child is completely into the screen. Okay, so that act actually affects the child to a greater extent. I think new mothers are not aware of it. They should take this as an input and start working on it. So when parents come to me, I understand all of this, like I said, clearly understand what is the routine of the child, where the problem is, because unless you find out the root cause, you won't be able to give a solution. If it's the TV, if it's the environment, if it's the grandparents, I tell them this is a clear no.
Grandparents, the parent, they are also not aware of the impact of screen time.
So I say it's a clear no because it has an adverse effect on the child. Maybe the parents are not aware, but in a due course of time, they would see a lot of behavioral issues coming up from the child. So screen time is a strict no, even if it's a neurodiverse child or a neurotypical child. It has to be restricted.
Tell me a little bit about creating employment for women.
That's my passion, and I think that's what I'm doing. Because I think women are natural entrepreneurs. Women can have it all. Women can do multitasking. We are multifaceted. Just that, I felt women are put in that kind of a situation, or because of the societal pressure and stigma, like I said, we can't be guilt free, right? Basically, people around us make us feel that guilt and they kind of quit their job or passion because of various reasons. So women needs to get back to work. My thought process is women should be financially independent. Whoever could be the father or husband, irrespective of that, women needs to be financially independent to claim their self-esteem, and so the self-belief system should change. Because of marriage or kids, I've seen a lot of mothers with special needs children. They'll be in a depression mode. They'll be all the time grieving, sad. But I think that mindset change should come. There are many opportunities available for women. My entire vision was clearly creating women opportunity. In fact, I wanted to create 5,000 plus employment opportunity for women. I wanted to create more edupreneurs, not just employment. I think women should start doing business. That's what I keep advocating. You would not believe, when I meet a lot of parents, they become more close to me, more like a family. APJ is more like a family. All our activities, celebration happens that way. So there are parents who have come to me saying that, will I have some opportunity to be a part of the institute or anything else? So I was happy that kind of impact APJ was able to create. Just being a homemaker, bringing the child, leaving in school and taking them back, the interest of getting back to work has come in them. So APJ is very, very, aggressively working on creating opportunities for women. Day in and out, I get a lot of resumes coming up. And we are also expanding across countries. So we're hiring a lot of people across different states and cities.
How has APJ International molded you as a human being?
That's a question I think that'll be personal to my heart, because I normally say my kids are my best teachers. I learned a lot by raising them, by observing them. When you raise two boys and you learn a lot, imagine you have a school every single day. Earlier, I used to feel that I don't have a girl child, and all that is taken care of through my school. When you go there, you see the little one dancing, coming up to you, talking to you. Your mood is completely changed. I tell my friends, you want to feel yourself happy and feel like a child, just walk into my school. That's the kind of impact it has created. That's about my kids and my model. But end of the day, as a human being, we always wanted to, feel happy at the end of the day when you go back to bed, right? As in, everybody works, everybody earns. Earning can happen in any way. But if you do something that's close to your job and you see that impact is there in others' life, the little thing, I kind of do some counseling, and end of the day I get a message, I was happy meeting you, I felt left out, now I feel that confidence, I know I can do better. There are messages, I keep seeing your status, I told my sister-in-law who's a widow to become like you. With these kind of messages, keeps me going. I feel great, or I feel happy about what I'm doing. Somewhere you be an inspiration to others, right? So end of the day, it gives me self satisfaction, it gives me that wholeheartedness, it gives me happiness. I think I'm living because of this. That's why I keep telling, if not for APJ, probably my life would have been worse. I would have been in that grief mode or sadness. It was just because of what I'm doing, and both my kids could be accommodated in the same place. So, what else? The entire family, it's become a family business. I see that my son has become more empathetic by taking care of the kids. So, I involve everybody in the business. So, it's become a family. And there are people who are working for you, the caretakers, the teachers. When you do something, they keep watching you, right? The entire people get aligned to your vision. That's how my team is. I'm so happy and proud that I have people around me like that.
Devaki, if you could go back in time, what is the one thing that you would change?
Basically, I haven't thought anything I would go back and change, because given the situation, I was very happy, because every situation is given to you because you can handle it. You can become a better person through the situation, right? So I was very happy with what I was doing and what I'm doing. But one thing I always regret or would like to change is I should have started doing this little earlier. Maybe you started the business at 28. I always feel I should have done that by 23. Probably I would have created a greater impact, and things would have been even more better. You don't need to thrive or strive. You could help a lot more families. That's something I always regret. I should have started this early. Somebody should have told me this earlier. That's one thing, or one reason I keep telling this to many people. You should start early, and we are there to help you. Otherwise, everything I feel I'm okay. It's not that I regret because I have a special need children, because I strongly believe you've been chosen because you are capable of doing it. I think they bring out the best in you because of my kids. I've always seen Devaki as a better person, better individual than 10 years before. I always tell my parents, don't compare your kids with everybody or anybody else. Compare it with their own version. Similarly, when I compare myself, I have come a long way and long way more to go. Learning happens every single day. So I'm happy about it.
Devaki, thank you so much, for coming here, taking time out to talk to me. And you did this, I know, because you want people to hear your voice, to know that they are not alone. And that's amazing. I hope to have you here for many more conversations. And I hope a lot of people are listening to this and are able to reach out to you.
Like I said, it gives me a lot of pleasure in sharing all this, even if it can help one person who's listening or watching this to shift change in their mindset and be a better person, a happy person, gain that confidence. That's it. What else you can ask for? I'll be more than happy. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you.
Thank you.